everyone, I'm Malia.
And I'm Christine.
And we're talking about reasons you should study abroad.
As if you need any.
Yeah, you get to study abroad, that's the reason. In college, I spent a month living in Spain.
And I spent a semester as an exchange student in Europe, England specifically, but I traveled around Europe. So we're both really passionate about it. And
all of my best stories are from Europe.
Oh yeah, all of my only stories. I don't have any stories except those. But we're very passionate about it. We think everyone should do it. It's very important, just life thing that everyone should do. And so why not do it while you're in college?
It's just super fun. So Christine, what's your number one reason you should study abroad?
Because you can. Well, especially when you're in college.
Yeah.
So, like, I would love to be able to just take a trip to Europe right now. That would be freaking amazing, but I don't have money, so I can't do that. But when you're in college, we both applied for grants and literally got paid cash money to go travel around Europe. Like, I know that's not an option for everyone, but if it is, take advantage of that. Do not waste that opportunity if you have it.
Speaking of traveling in your 20s, the 20s are also a great time to enjoy the hostel experience. When you first think about it, you're like, isn't there a horror movie named Hostel? But when you actually start staying in a hostel, it's pretty great. Traveling abroad and having friends who traveled abroad also encouraged me to stay in hostels in the US and overall enhanced my budget travel life outlook.
I mean, when you think about $20 a night, you think like, oh my God, it's got to be
and murder,
right?
Is what you think.
Which there are those hostels, so do your research. But for the most part, I mean, if it has good reviews and it's a reasonable price, go for it because they're always comfortable, they're always safe, they always have free Wi-Fi, and most of them have an age limit, which means like you can't stay in them if you're over like I don't even
usually
know.
30 or 35.
So it's all young people, and that just makes it even more fun. And that brings us to our next point, which is that you will make friends. You, like I said, are going to be in a hostel with lots of people who are around your same age. But not only that, you're all doing the same thing. You're all traveling around. You're all in the same point in your life. Like, you just have that instant kind of bonding.
And usually you share a room with like 5 other people, and you also share a bathroom with everyone in the hall. So you're going to like cross paths.
When you're like, hey, you know, me and my friend are traveling by ourselves and you're kind of traveling alone. Do you want to have dinner? Like, one night I found myself having dinner with like an Australian, 2 Brits, a Canadian, and like a Brazilian person. Like, you just make friends from literally all over the world. And I know that if I was ever back in those countries, like I could call those people up and I'd have someone to go and hang out with and show me around. So it's really awesome.
Yeah, at a hostel in Spain, I made really good friends with a girl named Jennifer from Germany. And so we were talking about life in Germany, life in the US, and then our experiences in Spain, because she was also going to Portugal next. And that's really where I feel like the main cultural exchanges happen too, is when you make friends, because that's when you find out like, oh, what, you know, a different example, when I was at a hostel in the US, I met an Australian who told me that they call comforters dunas, and that has stuck with me because that's just super weird.
Random tags. Well, yeah, you do pick up on different languages, just sitting there and having an actual conversation with someone. And then, like, we made some friends who ended up going to the same places we were next, and so we just kind of, like, kept hanging out with them. So, like, I don't know, it's just really cool. And that you wouldn't have that without that hostel experience.
Well, a 4th reason you should travel abroad is do it for the story.
DIFTS. Literally,
DIFTS.
the whole time I was, like, traveling, that's just what we kept saying. Like, should we do this? We'd be like, DIFTS. Like, we have to now. I mean, do it for the story. You don't need another reason than that. You just don't.
You know, one time in Spain, oh my God, in Spain they had me eat snails. I tried octopus. There were all kinds of bizarre seafoods that I never would have tried. And they were like, but have you ever had this before? And I was like, no, because it's octopus. And they were like, well, you've got to try it.
Which brings us to our next point. Go for the food. So I didn't try any weird crap like that.
No, but she came back a snob.
I did. I came back a complete wine and coffee snob after being in Italy because it is to die for. I mean, their food is to die for too. But
a little bit of a cheese snob too.
A little bit of an everything snob. I'm just a snob, guys. I'm just a snob. But for real though, like if you're gonna go to Europe specifically, all the food in Europe is amazing except England. I don't know, England missed the boat somehow. They suck. But everywhere else, I mean,
the Indian food in England is really good.
Really, I never tried it.
Colonialism.
The one perk to that. But yeah, so it's all very different. It's very unique. All the ingredients are like super fresh, and then everyone's super nice, especially in Italy. Like, I don't know.
I got Spanish olive oil, and there it's dirt cheap. Like, I bought olive oil for the price of a soda, basically, which is mind-blowing because here it's super expensive, and it's not even as good. And I had no idea what I was missing until they were like, here's some olive oil. Eat it with bread. And I was like, ew, oil on bread? And they're like, this has flavor. You'll like it. On the other hand, if you do come back from Europe or wherever you've traveled with expensive taste, you'll also come back with some awesome budgeting skills. Point number 6, you will learn to budget like a boss. $,
boss.
Yes, the $, boss. God.
So while I was in Europe, I went to like 10 different countries within the span of a month, and every single country...
So jealous.
Every single country has a different exchange rate, and so that gets really confusing, especially when you've never really learned how to budget because you're like a college student. But by the end of it, I mean, I was a freaking pro. Like, we had it figured out. It was down to a science. And not only just the traveling part, but like, in my case, I was there for 4 months. And I had a limited amount of money to spend during those 4 months. And so I had to figure out exactly how much I could spend on food and like fun and drinks and all that other stuff. So like we really had to be very strict with ourselves, and it really helped me like even now. So
yeah, it's not like you can just go get a job when you're studying abroad.
Right. So you also learn how to navigate because you literally do not have a choice. If you're outside of your home country and you don't have a cell phone plan while you're there, then you don't have GPS.
None.
And it's hard at first. I remember the first place we went, I got off on the train station and I was like, well, crap. Like, we don't know where we are. We don't know how to get anywhere. So you just pick up a map and you pick up a metro map.
You pick up more maps, all of the maps
you just have a
find.
million maps. But I mean, you just need a street map and you need a metro map, and you can get anywhere. It's kind of a learning curve. You have to figure out how to read them. You have to figure out how to actually get yourself from one place to another. And it is like, but I think that's a really good life skill for anyone to have, that you don't always rely on technology to get you anywhere, that you actually can like be self-sufficient and figure stuff out on your own. So for all of these reasons and more, studying abroad is a great addition to your resume. It makes you worldly and cultural and independent and all these other like cheesy adjectives that future employers are really going to value in a person. So if for no other reason, if we didn't convince you by now, do it for your resume.
And it demonstrates too to your employer that you're open to learning new things and new experiences, and that you're not just stuck in your ways. You know, you don't just want to live in a cubicle forever. So Christine was all, it'll make you worldly, but it really will make you more worldly. That's point number 9, is you'll gain a deeper understanding of the world, how the world works, how people are different from you. Even if you're, I don't know, from the US and you're going to the UK and you think England is totally just like the US, you're gonna figure out, yeah, she did it. You know, there are gonna be things like beans on toast that'll throw you for a loop, and you have to learn
for breakfast.
Yeah, that face, that's what all of the Americans do when they hear about that the first time. But it really helps you understand someone else's life experiences and relate to it, and just makes you a better person. And
really
it's good for society, and just go. So there's no real downside to studying abroad. You might get homesick, but really it's worth it when you compare getting homesick to all of the benefits and all of the reasons you should study abroad, like...
Because you can.
That's my favorite.
The hostel experience.
You'll make new friends.
DIFTS.
I love how you always have to say that. Like,
you have to. That's how you say it.
The food, your newfound budgeting skills.
You learn how to navigate. It's a great addition to your resume.
And you really will be more worldly and have a greater appreciation for the world.
So now that we are sufficiently sad and missing our time studying abroad, we hope that we've convinced you to go and study abroad yourself. You will not regret it, I promise.
And if you have already studied abroad and we missed a point that you think we really should have made, or if you just want to tell us your story because all your friends are tired of hearing all of your stories, comment below. Yeah, for sure. Just kidding. I love, because it lets me relive my group experience. But yeah, comment below or tweet at us or somehow tell us your story. We'd love to hear it.
Like this video, subscribe to our channel for more videos.
See you later.